Hello, and welcome back, everybody. I'm Panda Wrath, and Mr. Tango is around here somewhere. He's slacking today. Today, we are going over some breathing exercises. Yeah, so over the weekend, I helped my father move, and he's up in Flagstaff, so he's up at a higher elevation than where we're at in Prescott here. And yeah, I noticed that he had not adjusted to the elevation yet. So I can't stop thinking about it. I really can't, because he's been up there for a while. And so I'm always a little concerned when it comes to my father. I'm a little protective. So I wanted to not just make this video for him, but I wanted to make it for everybody else who might benefit from it. I use breathing exercises throughout my day. I try to hit them in the morning. I find that getting an extra amount of air inside of me, expanding the lungs, getting that all warmed up, really centers me for the rest of the day. I feel like I can breathe easier, and because of that, I've got more energy. I feel more stable, and I'm sure there's plenty of benefits to just get more of that vital oxygen in your system. So let's go over. We're gonna go over 3 basic exercises today. 3 very, very basic exercises. Anybody can do these, and anybody can benefit from them. When you start to practice these, I recommend that you start in a seated position, somewhere that's rather comfortable, right? Like on the couch. Now, on some of these exercises, I'm going to recommend that you get to the edge of the couch, but I do want you seated just in case you get lightheaded, right? That can happen, so just be aware of that. Don't push yourself too hard to begin with. Be easy on yourself, and be gentle, as always. So let's start off with the first one here. The first one is tiger's breath. Now, tiger's breath sounds so cool, right? But all it really is you're going to basically act like a tiger as you exhale, right? And you get that, like stick your tongue out and get that big expiration from the back of the throat. And you really want to push out everything during that exhale. So in traditional Chinese medicine, it's interesting because, there's different emotions that are attached to different organs, and there's different cycles and how you operate. It's all very detailed. But one thing that I find really, really interesting is when you talk about the heart. And the heart, the noise that's associated with it is laughter. But if you think about, like, in traditional Chinese medicine, there's, like your normal levels that you can be at, your very stable levels, and then you have like your exaggerated levels and your deficient levels, right? The way I like to think about it is that laughter, when it's sped up and out of control, you can get to a point of hysteria, right? I'm sure we've all laughed to the point of crying, or laughed to the point where we're like, I can't stop laughing and it actually hurts. But then if you think about slowing that laughter down, that ha 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 ha, ha, right? That if you take a ha and you slow it down, you really have tiger's breath, right? You really just have tiger's breath. So it in a TCM way, in a traditional Chinese medicine way, it makes sense as to why it has that calming quality to it, because you're almost speaking directly to that organ that is excited right now, right? Like faster pulse, faster heart rate. You're pumped up. You're ready to go. Maybe too pumped up. We talked about this in our sports massage video, where most of the time sports massage, particularly before an event, is meant to amp up your athlete. But what if they're like way too amped? Like sometimes it is good to calm down. There's plenty of times where it's good to calm down. What am I talking about? Another benefit to some of these breathing exercises here is you become more aware of how you're breathing. For a lot of us, we breathe very shallowly, and we breathe into our chest instead of our abdomen. We're using our diaphragm. We're kind of using more of our neck muscles to pull our rib cage up away from the diaphragm versus pulling the diaphragm down and away from the rib cage. So just something to keep in mind, that your natural breathing pattern might change just a little bit throughout the day. You might not even be aware of it. So that's tiger's breath. You can really just keep breathing like that until you feel the effects of the breathing exercise. Now, the second one here, this one really helped me with my anxiety when I was teaching. It sounds kind of annoying, so I would try to do it like in my car or something like that, because it sounds like a tire deflating. If you could think about that noise and how to make it. So you're pushing air out through the teeth, right? I'm so sorry for the audio on this video. But for me, with that breathing exercise, I almost feel it like immediately. Like I almost feel like my blood pressure's dropping. I've never tested that, so don't quote me on that. I've never tested if it will actually drop my blood pressure, but it feels like that sort of feeling. Just practice that. There's no really set number of how many you would do for either of these exercises. Just kind of do it until you're feeling more relaxed, feeling more opened up. Now, these first two, I don't practice as much. But this third one is a daily practice for me. Absolutely. What I consider to be the Mac Daddy of all breathing exercises, and I'm glad that you have stayed tuned in the video to catch this, is the 9 breath empowerment method. Good old 9 breath, as I like to call it. Now, I didn't come up with this. In fact, this was taught to me many, many years ago in a CE class. I've loved it so much that I have wanted to share this information. I don't think something like this should be kept from people. I really, really don't. And in a lot of ways, oh, there's Mr. Tango. Hi, come here, buddy. You want to hop up? Come on, come here. Yeah, look who's finally showed up to work. Mr. Tango, come on, buddy. There he is. Oh, now we can finally start. I think I was saying something about this information needs to be shared. So we're going to go ahead and get it out there. So, old 9 breath. Just as it sounds, you're going to take 9 breaths. In traditional Chinese medicine, there's this kind of mild reoccurrence of the number 3. It seems to pop up here and there. 3 treasures, 3 breaths, stuff like that. So we're just going to work in increments of 3 for the most part. It goes 9 breaths, then after that, just go in increments of 9 to build up. But if 9 is too much, just do 3. I don't think you're going to die or explode if you don't do increments of 3. But just be aware that it's often taught like that. So what we're doing, though, is we're taking 9 breaths, and on the 9th, we're going to hold that breath. We're not just going to hold the breath, though. We're going to swallow a little bit of saliva and swallow that breath down into our belly. And I know it sounds a little strange, but that'll have a big effect. Also, what we're going to do is as you're breathing, I want you to focus breathing down into your belly, down and out. Really expanding that, getting that Buddha belly, right? Really focusing on drawing that diaphragm down and out as you breathe. Now, as you exhale, you could do the opposite, right? You could push in the opposite direction, up and back, as you normally would as you breathe. In the more advanced sessions, they'll still try to exhale while pushing down and out. I don't expect you to be at that level. I really don't even want you to practice that as we get into this to begin with, because let's just worry about that later. Let's just breathe a little bit. And now let's also be sure that we aren't taking breaths, that we are giving ourselves these breaths. All right? There's a big difference. I want you to be gentle with yourself. We don't need to take here. You can give to yourself because we love you. You love yourself. Now, as you are doing this by yourself, I'll walk you through it today. But what I like to do is, I'll count on my fingers because counting to 9 is hard sometimes for me. Go figure. Most massage therapists have this weird issue with numbers. I don't know what it is. I've only met one who's actually any good at math. But you can 1, 2, 3, 4. Just count along with your fingers and your thumb, right? I mean, really basic stuff. But I have noticed that it makes it a lot easier for me to keep track as I'm doing this. So We'll sit up straight. Now, this is the exercise as well where I would actually like you to sit on the edge of your chair, edge of your seat here, because what I also want you to do, Mr. Tango's not making this easy for us. What I also want you to do is when you exhale, I want you to lean forward. And when you inhale, I want you to sit up. So you're basically going to give space for your abdomen, for your diaphragm to expand, right? And you're just kind of working with that movement as you do this. Oh, you got something to say, buddy? You have something to say? All right, so if you want to go ahead and follow along at home, you so can. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So first, you're going to start off by exhaling everything. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get through all 9 breaths here very well. But what you would do at the end of this, when you get to the 9th breath, you're going to bring it all in. And you're going to swallow some saliva down. Now, when that happens, it's going to feel like you just dropped into it. Like you really dropped into the exercise. Like you really got filled up by all these gases that you just brought in and really are holding in you right now. So it can pack a bit of a wallop. It really can. But I find that when you sit in it and you just let it happen, it can be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thinking you might be too much? Start off with 3 breaths. Maybe move over to 6, move up to 9. Just keep moving your way up. And you can get some rather beautiful, beautiful, beautiful meditations with something like this. So I hope this helps. I know there's probably more to elevation acclimation than just breathing exercises, but this is just my humble contribution to my dad and all the other wonderful people out there. So be safe and stay safe, be awesome, and stay awesome. And I'll see you in the next video.